All right. Sam Houston, the University of Texas face off this week, $67 million apart, but one in the same. Welcome in. This is the Bearkat Bites podcast, the only independent media covering Sam Houston football year around. Links are in the description if you want to be a part of the newsletter. Check out the Big Sam t-shirts. The holidays are coming up. Start thinking about that. You can get that down there in the description. And you can help send us to the games like we are going to at the University of Texas. We're going to get down there a little bit later in the day. Maybe have some good Terry Black's barbecue. And then we are going to stay the night because it is safe, not very safe to drive at night. And thanks to you all supporting this platform, we're able to do that. We're able to get a hotel. We're able to do that. That's thanks to you all, okay? So make sure you all tell somebody if you like what you're seeing. Tell them to support as well. Jump in and support. Make sure you can do this. Because of that, we also have one other surprise coming as well. We'll talk about that when Sam Houston gets into conference play. But today I wanted to talk to you about two of the same teams. Two of the same team. I don't know if that's grammatically correct down there. I don't care. You get the point. Doesn't matter that Sam Houston and Texas, as they face off this weekend at DKR Stadium, doesn't matter that they're $67 million apart. That doesn't really matter, okay? Let me tell you something. They're all facing the same type of questions. They're all kind of doing the same old type of thing. Don't believe me? Oh! What's that? Quarterback issues. Arch Manning. Now, Sam Houston, again, you can go check out the newsletter in the description. We talk a little more about how Phil Longo still sees a good quarterback there for old Arch Manning. He still sees a good quarterback in the guy, in the kid. The kid that's been there 3 years, by the way. He still sees that despite his slow start. Now, he recruited him. He still sees a pretty good quarterback. So Sam Houston, they're running into the Arch Manning buzzsaw. I talked earlier on my Twitter, are you following us, at Bearkat Bites, about how Sam Houston was not mentioned much, maybe scantly, like 0.2 of a time during Steve Sarkisian's weekly presser. Okay? They're hoping that this is some sort of coming out party for old Arch. Meanwhile, Sam Houston, I mean, they got 3 quarterbacks. I wrote it down. Let me see if I got it. Arch Manning has 9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Now, Sam Houston's 3 quarterbacks. Go ahead, sound off. I'll give you a little bit of time. How many touchdowns to interceptions do you think Sam Houston's 3 quarterbacks that they've played so far have combined for? I wish I was dang, God rest his soul, Alex Trebek could play the Jeopardy music for you. How many? What's their touchdown interception ratio? Arch Manning, 9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. How many do Hunter Watson, Mabry Matoyer, and Landon Locke have? All right. They've got 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Those combined. So as much maligned as Arch Manning is, understand something here. Understand something. The numbers are a lot worse for Sam Houston. But they've got major quarterback questions as well. Now, Phil Longo said that all 4 quarterbacks could play. So there's some dark reality where some of those DJ Bailey truthers could get their shot, which if that happens, that means something good hasn't happened, right? So what you want to see from Sam Houston is a stable offense. You're looking to see that, okay? You're looking to see that. See what we got in the comments here. Yeah, 4 on the money. 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions for those 3 quarterbacks. Okay, so there's that. Right, good answer. All right, so they also had questions on defense, and they've also, to both teams' credit, they've answered those questions very well. Remember, Texas had lost a lot of defensive line as well. Remember, Huntsville native Devondre Sweat. They lost Byron Murphy. I mean, guys just kept leaving. You know what I'm saying? What's Colin Simmons going to do? And, he's played pretty well. They only gave him 14 points against Ohio State. Meanwhile, Sam Houston's defense, now this is where those only 4 touchdowns come in. They haven't scored as much, so that's put more pressure on Sam Houston's defense. So guys like Jahmyr Diaz, and by the way, I believe it was Sam Houston Sports Talk got to talk to Jahmyr Diaz. Great interview. So guys like him, they get kind of mashed out because their results are getting buried because they're getting tired at the end of games when they're going to kind of the message gets sent. What should be maybe 24-17 becomes 34-10, stuff like that. So that's kind of the thing. But both of them have really answered those questions fairly well. Both teams have answered those questions pretty good. What do you think about that? Sound off in the comments, okay? Sound off in the comments. My whole thing about this is, when I look at these two teams, it's again two of the same team. Also, we talked about Phil Longo, talked about his connections there. You can look in the newsletter. Both Phil Longo and Kyle Flood for the offensive coordinator of Texas have served as offensive coordinators for Casey Keeler, who's the former Delaware coach, former Sam Houston coach, current Temple coach. Lots of hidden connections there with Texas and Sam Houston. So this game's a little more interesting. So than you would think. Phil Longo's great friends with Kyle Flood. They trade offensive philosophies. So I'd expect to see kind of some similarities. But Kyle Flood gets to use the Lamborghini. Phil Longo gets to use his mom's minivan. The minivan runs well. It gets up to Kroger. I've been there. We've all been there. God brought us out, right? And if you're there, then he will. Believe it. But with old Phil Longo, that's kind of what he's doing. It's like, everybody wants insert beautiful woman here, but Texas has the money to get Sabrina Carpenter, or who's a hot woman now? I don't even know. It used to be SZA for me before I got married. Let's see. The defense will look better as the offense gets better. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Great point. The defense is going to look a lot better as the offense gets better, and it's going to start to look more kind of like what Phil Longo wants to do. Phil Longo, if you're a Phil Longo truther, let me say this: you are encouraged by the defense because he is an offensive guy that respects defense. He understands that they got to have something there, and it's a good sign that they have it, because when his part of the deal catches up, hopefully you're much more competitive, right? So hopefully that happens. We're gonna see. Continue to sound off in the comments if you want. But I talked about this earlier. This is 3 bye weeks. 3 bye weeks. 3 bye weeks, really. Last week you have this one, and then there's one more before you start conference play. And so again, you just want to see a competent offense. That's kind of what you're looking for. All right. That is kind of what you're looking for here. You're kind of looking for the team to have some sort of cohesion on that side of the ball. Because again, as we get into the line here, let's see. Because the line is really Sam Houston plus 39.5. So the line has shrunk. I saw 41 as many as a few weeks ago. Over the summer, I'm sure you could have gotten it for more. And that would have been a nice early play to get. A really nice early play to get. This could be like 42-3, something like that. Now that we know that there's a relationship there, we talked about it in our newsletter this week. Now that we've talked about that, I expect, there's no bad blood. They're not going to run up the score. They're going to send a message in Steve Sarkisian's mind. Hopefully this just looks competent. Both teams are really just looking for competent quarterback play. Again, I've told you, two of the same teams. Both of them are really just looking for, can we make this work? Can we make this look like something? What it kind of a little more what it's supposed to before we really get into the meat of our schedules. That's what this is. And to me, that says a respectable score of 45-3, something like that. It wouldn't surprise me, 52-0. If I was betting, I wouldn't do that. And I see that it says Hawaii here. Bear with me. I see that it says Hawaii here. That Hawaii game was, that Hawaii game really tested us. Only a couple of y'all were up for that. There we go. Only a couple of y'all were up for that. But yeah, the whole thing about Sam Houston is, you know, the whole thing about Sam Houston in Texas is the fact that both teams want to see just really some competent quarterback play. Can it look closer to what we think it should be, right? And if they can do that, then it should be okay. There's a lot of respect between these two coaches. So I'm expecting something like, 45-3, 52-0 maybe. If I was betting, I wouldn't touch this game. Again, let me tell you that right now. All right. Let me go ahead and tell you that. The over-under is 51 points, 48, 51. Sam Houston games, I wouldn't bet on them. I wouldn't bet on these. I wouldn't bet on these at all. Holy cow, I would not. I would not. Let me go ahead and put that there. Let's see what we got in the comments. Watching that game with, it was impossible. It was impossible. But see, that's what I'm telling you all. That, watching that game was impossible. Only somebody covering the game to bring it to you and really report what happened. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. A lot of you all, if you're wondering whatever happened in that game, you can go in the newsletter. The archives will always be there. You can find out what happened. We report on every game. We report on every game here, okay? Year-round coverage of Sam Houston football. You've got to understand that. You got to see it, Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, sound off in these comments. Sound off. And thank you all. And if you like it, tell somebody. Tell somebody. We're here. We're here every week. We're here every week. It's like that. It's like some of those leaders in your church or something, they're there every week except several throughout the year or so, or it's a different time or something. It's kind of our schedule here, right? Yeah, that was an impossible game. So those of us that stayed up and then lived to tell the tale of the post game, man. Can I say this about Hawaii? I don't think that Hawaii is gonna really play very. Let me back up. I don't think Hawaii is gonna make it as far as they want to. I don't think that Hawaii is gonna make it as far as they want to, and the reason is because they've got some dirty players. They had one guy kicked out against Sam Houston. It was another guy, this Iovani guy, and he just got a scholarship for what he did against Sam Houston, hitting guys in the head and unnecessary roughness and things. So that's going to cost them at some point. Playing that way, it's going to cost them a game or two. You mark my words. Talk to me in October about Hawaii. They're flying high right now. I know they're getting their starting quarterback, Alejado, back, but talk to me in October about them. Okay. Texas Aggies with a big win. Texas Aggies with a big win, and that's all I'm going to say, because I'm not going to set myself up for October and November. I'm not going to set myself up for that. I'm not going to do that. I am not going to do that. Okay? So anyway, we're going to wrap it up. You all make sure you share, like it, subscribe, all of these things. We're here for you. This is why we do it. If I wasn't here, somebody's got to pick up the torch, right? It's about Sam Houston coverage. This incredible team, incredible school, all that type of stuff. You all be safe. We'll see you next time. All college football is good college football.